Hello everyone, welcome to Kinda Sorta EverQuest. This is Gnarlo here. Say hello to everyone, Gnarlo. Good boy. I call it Kinda Sorta EverQuest because this is the little private server I run for me and the bros. It's not live. It's not the real EverQuest that's still being run by Daybreak Games, and it's not any of the more, let's say, advanced private servers like Project 1999 or the PEQ project or the Project 2002 project, or any of those that have large teams of GMs and developers and all who are working to try and perfectly match a certain era of Minecraft, of EverQuest here. Like Project 1999 is trying to capture the original vanilla experience. You know, they've got EverQuest and the first two expansions, Ruins of Kunark and the Scars of Luckland. So they covered 1999 through like the end of 2000. Beginning of 2001. That's the era that they're aiming for, and they're trying to capture it perfectly. Project 2002 is covering everything throughout the next two, Shadows of Luckland and Plains of Power. There was a Macintosh version of EverQuest that came out in 2002. It covered all the expansions up to Plains of Power, the first 5 expansions. And it never got an update. That's where it stopped. It ran for the next 10 years or 11 years. It ran for a little over a decade, and the people that played on it, on their Macs, played it for over a decade, but it never got another expansion. It was frozen in time at 2002. And the people that are doing Project 2002, that's exactly what they're trying. They're wanting to try and perfectly reproduce that. What I've got here on the Brocraft server, we are just... I am not trying to reproduce any particular thing. For instance, you'll see in the background there's the exterminator and all these rodents that are traveling around. None of that existed in EverQuest whenever I played it. I think the exterminator came in toward the end. There goes one of those pesky little rodents right there. I think he came in toward the end of the 6 or 7 years that I played on EverQuest, but I never paid a lot of attention to it and all that. I'm not trying to capture any particular time perfectly. I'm just working on getting a feeling. You know, I want the old school feeling of EverQuest. Much like whenever I'm playing on Lord of the Rings, when I'm doing the Slowtros, you know, there's no possible way to exactly reproduce the Lord of the Rings, the old Shadows of Angmar experience, like what I remember from 8 years ago, 9 years ago. You know, you don't go to your trainer and buy skills, for instance. You don't have to train up there anymore. You don't have to go to a bard to adjust your virtues and your traits. All of that can be handled, you know, via the trait tree and all that. But I still like traveling there and pretending that I'm getting it, you know, to get that experience. And that's what I'm doing here, is I'm engaging in just the parts of the experience here that I remember and I enjoy. Get that old school feeling, and as time goes on and I get more and more powerful and I go to other places, I'll possibly incorporate more and more of the things as we go along, especially once we get out of the Plains of Power and the Shadows of the Acacia, Rise of the Acacia. I can't remember what the name of it was. Lost Dungeons, all that. Incorporate these expansions that came in there toward the end that, yeah, I bought them and I had them, but I never actually played them. So they're a new experience for me. So that just kind of covers the background of the server you have here. What I brought you on to talk about today is we are going to do a few things on trade skills. I'm going to do a multi-part series here, just covering trade skills. And it's going to be covering just the first 15 or 20 levels, just to get you started part of the trade skill. After that, really go Google on the web, look for something like EQ Traders and that sort of thing. They give you the best information. And this is just information that mostly pertains to the old school experience is what I'm giving you. For instance, the vanilla servers, Project 99, Project 2002, the stuff that I play here, it's just the basic foundations of it. I can't tell you what trade skills are like on live. I haven't played on live in over 3 years. Back in 2016, I got on it for a month or two, played around on the real Gnarlo, the original Gnarlo, leveled them up a little bit, did a little bit of trade skilling and all that, but didn't really delve into it, didn't do a whole lot of playing. So I can't tell you what the situation as far as trade skills is if you go and actually get on real EQ and work on trade skills and stuff. But I can tell you what it's like on Project 99, what it's like on if you set up your own little server here, that sort of thing, and give you an idea of how to begin. I would imagine for the most part that most of these probably begin, the lower first 15 or 20 levels are probably a lot like they were back 18, 19, 20 years ago whenever I first played. So the first one we're going to cover is fishing. And I'm going to head over to we're in West Freeport. I'm going to head over to East Freeport, and I'll see you when we get over there. It is a little while later. We have arrived here in East Freeport. Notice it's a little later. The moon has come up. The sky's turned to nighttime. You'll see that changing from time to time in between our little bits and pieces as I have to go and run our chores and errands and things. You're used to it in Lord of the Rings. My life ain't no different when I'm playing EverQuest here. As I said, we're here in East Freeport now. We have just come from the West Freeport zone. Right down that way is the South Gate that you've seen Mindfiend and I go out whenever we're headed to Northern Row hunting down that way. Over this way is the Trade and Merchant Center and the slums back behind them. Back over this way is the docks, and that is where we're going to head right at the moment. We're going to head to the Port Authority, just this side of the docks, because that is the best place in Freeport to get fishing supplies. In fact, they've got 2 vendors that sell fishing supplies right here. When you go fishing, you want a fishing pole. They go for about 2 gold. Let's see, let's spread this a little wider. There we go. You want a fishing pole, they go for a little over 2 gold, and you're going to want some fishing bait. Now, we've still got the pole that we had whenever we were fishing with Mindfiend, but we've used up all our bait. So I'm going to go here and I am going to buy a stack of 20 bait, and that will get us going. You can also, let's get out of the merchant screen here. If I remember right, I believe you can put your bait in the ammo slot, I believe. You can, right there. The bait will fit in the ammo slot. That'll keep it from using up one of your precious inventory areas. And then you have to trade out your weapon for your fishing rod. You cannot, it's actually got to be into your hand in the fishing area there. All right. So next up, where we're going to go is let's head right on out of here onto the docks. There we go. And we've got our pretend ship out here right now. I say pretend ship. Back whenever EverQuest was new, the first couple years that it ran, the first 2 or 3 years that it ran, these boats were actually solid objects. They are now basically ghosts. I mean, they're still here. They're still objects that move, but they no longer have any kind of collision box. And you can't jump on them and travel on them like you used to back in the day. So instead, they have these translocators here. As you see, you hail it, and it says, where do you want to go? This boat went to the Ocean of Tears. So the translocator here sends you to the Ocean of Tears, if that's what you decide to do. Unfortunately, you can't ride the boats. Project 99, that is one of the marvelous things that they have done, is they've actually got the boats working again. Whenever you're on the Project 1999 server, you actually ride the boats. They do not have the translocator. It took a lot of coding and a lot of work on their part, and I do applaud them for the effort. That is tremendous that they were able to do that. But I just mentioned as a bit of background while we're out here. I'm going to zoom on out. One of the reasons why we got so good at fishing was the fact that, like right now, you arrive and the boat's not here. The boats came by about every 20 to 25 minutes. So if you, let's say just like that, we come out of the Port Authority and run up the docks and the boat is pulling out and leaving, well, we had about 20 minutes to kill before we could catch the boat and ride it to the next continent. So what did you do? You chatted and you fished. Now with fishing, you're going to want to make an ability here. I showed it in the fishing hole episode, but right click on one of the blank action screens, choose fishing, put it on there, and that'll give you a fishing button. Just like that one. And then you can either leave it there, you can haul it over here. And to go fishing, that is exactly what you do. You push the button, and it casts out your line. And a little bit of time will go by. The random number generator will roll the dice in the background. And look at there, we have caught a fish. That is the first fish I have caught on this server. You saw us the other day, we weren't catching fish. I was catching a lot of other things, but not fish. Fish is a food. It can be used to cook and all that. Other things that you can catch are you can catch sandals, tattered sandals. You can catch rusty weapons. You can catch fish scales, all sorts of things like that. Every time you catch something, whether it's a fish or a sandal or whatever, it uses up one of your bait. You'll notice we've gone to 19 now instead of 20. And also, every now and then you'll get a thing down here that says you lost your bait. You cast your line. Every now and then you'll get one that'll say you didn't catch anything, you lost your bait. And you'll also lose a bait when that happens. Let's see what it gives us on this cast. Oh, didn't catch anything, and our fishing pole broke. That's one of the hazards too. Eventually, if you fish long enough, your fishing pole will break. And it doesn't matter which fishing pole you use. There are some fishing poles. There's a fishing pole that is tinkered, that the gnomes, one of the skills that gnomes have is called tinkering. And it's a difficult fishing pole to get, and it requires a pretty good skill in tinkering. But it can still break just like the others do. There's a couple of other fishing poles that give you stats. Fishing poles that you loot off of other creatures, loot off of other NPCs, and that give you stats like stamina and hit points and armor class. And if you use them to fish, they will break just like any other. So once your fishing pole breaks, you have to come over here and you have to buy another one from the fishing suppliers. So there you go, another 2 gold spent to get yet another fishing pole. Equip it again, and we can get back to fishing. Now I'm going to leave this zone for a moment. We are going to head up to, I think, West Freeport, and I've got something fishing related to show you over there. We're back in West Freeport. Hey, Boomba. We are passing on through the West Gate. Now, we are going to make a right out of the gate and follow this wall. One of the things about Freeport is that, I think we've mentioned before, and y'all have probably noticed before, there are 2 warring factions here in Freeport. There is the militia that controls the west and east part of town, and there are the Paladins and the Clerics of Mar, who control the north part of town. And they are not in good terms with each other. In fact, you've got the situation you have where, for instance, the fact that the militia tolerates having an ogre with a business running out there, where we've shown before where he's got dwarf pickles and halfling pickles and paladin pickles. that he sells there underneath the watchful eye of the militia, and they don't say anything about it. So that should tell you there's maybe something a little bit shady about the militia here. Well, in fact, there is. You find out in some of the quests that goes along that the leader of the militia, Sir Lucan, who's the de facto ruler of Freeport, is actually a pretty evil character. And one of the paladin quests for the Soulfire, which is the fiery sword that you can get as a paladin, one of the requirements for it is to kill Sir Lucan. Well, when you do that, needless to say, it destroys your faction here in Freeport, and you are kill on sight to any of the militia people in West Freeport or East Freeport. You can't go near any of the guards anymore, any of the militia guards anymore, unless you happen to be a high enough level to take them out when they attack you, because they're going to attack you. So you say, well, the Paladin Guild is in North Freeport. How do you get there? Well, you get there like this. There is a secret tunnel right here. There's one on the other side as well. On the far other wall over there, there's another secret tunnel that leads into the sewers that goes up underneath town. Now, as a good guy and as a paladin and all, you have to kind of ignore some of the NPCs through here, like the dark elf that's selling poison supplies and all. And just make your way down through the areas to the broken parts of the world that lead you into the sewers, where you can get up to it leads you to the sewers, and you can take the sewers, I think, that way, and it eventually leads you and comes out next to the City Hall and the Paladins Guild. So that's how you get around in Freeport after you become kill on sight to the guards. Now, one in particular I'm thinking about is, I think, this one. Yeah, this right here, this puddle here, is one of the smallest places you can fish. It's a puddle leading off of the sewers, leads into this little puddle, and anything bigger than this, basically, you can fish in. This is, I think, the smallest place in the game that you can actually fish and catch stuff. Or maybe this one. It could actually be this one. Let's see if we can cast out here. Now, first, I'm going to face over this way and try to fish this way and show what it shows you. It says, you cast your line. Are you trying to catch land sharks, perhaps? That's what it gives you. It gives you this land shark message if you fish in an area where you can't fish, like toward land or places where the water's too low. Let's see if you can do it here in this little puddle. Are you going to be able to do it here? Nope, trying to catch land sharks. Stop fishing and go on your way. Now, can we do it here? Wait till it renews. Nope, it's still giving us trying to catch land sharks. Let's see. Can we get over this way and cast now? Nope, still giving us the land sharks message. Now, this is supposed to be able to fish in. Maybe we have to be more in it. There we go. Let's actually stand in it now. And try it once more. Yep, still giving us the land shark. So that is apparently too small a bit of water to fish in as well. Is there anything up this way? Reading on the wiki, it said that the puddle of water... Whoa. Let's not fall into there, okay? Let's definitely not fall into there. As I said, the sewers are rather extensive if you go down into the sewers proper there. I prefer to stay up here and just run through the pipeline over there that leads back and forth to the Paladins Guild. That's as far into the sewers as I care to go right at the moment. Okay, can we fish in the sewers? Will it let us fish here? Nope, still giving us land sharks. What about up top in this puddle? Can we fish in the sewer here? Has this got water in it? I can't tell. It's got quite the eerie feeling down here. This gives me a feeling much like old Minecraft did. Bit of an oubliette there. Gives me a feeling much like old Minecraft did. I talked about back in the day how with Minecraft some days I would be down in the mines branch mining, and if I hadn't heard anything for a while, I would start getting a little bit spooked. Things would start bothering me. Whoa. I'm not sure who these people are either. They're in armor. They look like they might be paladin types. Is this where I'm trying? I think so. I think right over here, where this hole in the wall. I think if we travel up this way, it's been a long time since I had to travel through the sewers here. Let's see where it leads us out. We should have another broken stone wall. There we go. Another break in the sewers. Leads us out of here. And we should be coming out into the daylight in just a moment here. Yep. Here we go. And we should be right over here close to... Is this the Landholders All? Where did this bring us out? Freeport Office of the People. Yep, that's the one that I was looking for. Right there's the Freeport Office of the People, the Office of Landholders, basically kind of a government type of thing. And if you go on back over that way, that is the... You can swim through there. That takes you to the Paladins Guild. And as I said, my brother... Keebs and I, many of my most fond memories from back in the day of EverQuest is whenever we would be here. Let's head on over to the Paladins Hall, the Hall of Truth. Yep, the Hall of Truth. Da, 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 da. Yep, there we go. We spent many a time over here. This is where we would generally end up our evenings after we've been exploring and hunting and dungeoneering and working on increasing our faction and getting some leveling and gold and all done. Come on, what do you mean, land sharks? To think all the years that I spent playing this game in first person, I am still horrible with the cameras. Can I go fishing here now? Yes, there we go. Cast our line. Finally got a place where it thought we were deep enough. All right. But yeah, we would end up over here next to the Hall of Truth and fish for a while and have just a good time. Caught something. Looks like I caught some fish scales. All right, so y'all see what fishing is like. It's the easiest skill in the game to level up. All you need is the fishing pole. All you need is bait, and you can go at it. It has a maximum skill of 200, and it is level capped at 5 times your level plus 5. So like right now, Gnarlo's level 6. That means it is capped at level 35. He can't go above level skill of 35 in his fishing right now. When he gets another level, he'll be able to add another 5 to that, and he'll have a level of 40. Or be able to skill up to a level of 40. So there you go. That is fishing, the easiest skill in the game, the cheapest skill in the game, one of the most useful skills in the game, because you can get food, just like it says in Lord of the Rings. Fishing is one of the few ways that a hobbit can spend the afternoon dozing and still put dinner on the table. There you are. Next time, we will do one of these and we will cover the basics of beginning blacksmithing. So I will see y'all then. And meanwhile, happy fishing to you. Didn't catch anything? Better at fishing. 26.